Alrighty. I think we're good to go. How's it going, everyone? Over the past couple weeks, we had you color some stuff, and we received some pretty cool entries, so I'm pretty stoked about that. Thank you all for participating there. That was pretty sweet. It means a lot. It was fun get into this thing we've been planning for a long time. We've been working on this art project, this rebranding project since, I think it was February that we actually started working on all of this. And it took way longer than we expected, and once we realized it was taking significantly longer than we thought, we figured we would just wait until episode 250 and rebrand then. So we are a week away from that, and the Patreon is obviously getting stuff early, which is fun. We like trying to hook you guys up a little bit. But today, so we have new artwork here. So this is our new podcast art. A little bit of the story behind our current stuff, which is what even is it? It's just like an outline of a cassette. And basically what happened is we had someone who was going to do our artwork for us, and at the last minute kind of bailed. So I had like a day and a half to come up with something for episode 100. And I found some cassettes on Google and traced it, and it was like okay, right? It was good enough, but I don't think it really represented what the podcast is. Like it was fun and it was clean and it was nice, but it was a little corporate, I kind of thought. So we wanted something that represented the show a little bit better. We wanted someone to look at this on their screen this big and kind of, get some kind of feeling for what we could possibly be talking about, and kind of loosely doing like quote unquote punk, right? You associate with tattoos. So I thought it would be fun to do a cassette in a traditional Flash tattoo style, like Sailor Jerry's. So I reached out to my buddy Jess Catello, who we talk about on the show a lot. He is what's going on, Melissa? He's a drummer, like one of the best drummers I've ever seen in my life. And he is a tattooer in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I know that he's been on Twitch doing some digital painting. So I reached out asking if he wanted to do something for us. And he agreed. So we spent a lot of time working on the flash sheet that I hope you all have seen at this point. If not, I can try to pull that up here real quick. We had a ton of fun working on all of that stuff. Let's see. Oh, man. Flash sheet. Lines. Artwork. Nope. Where is that guy? Yeah, so this is the actual file that Jess worked on. No. And it was kind of a mess organizationally, and I kind of went in and cleaned up like what all of the different layers are, because I wanted kind of complete control over all of the individual assets so that I could incorporate it into the rest of our branding. And if you haven't seen it, we actually printed out some really nice prints. I've got them right next to me here that are on sale, and some stickers. When I'm done here, maybe I'll pull those up. And it was such a fun project, and we decided that this kind of centerpiece here, we would kind of rework that into the new artwork. So it's very similar, just has the clouds around it, and it's the same colors as the tape before, with the green, yellow, red, and we tried to reincorporate that back into the imagery. So this is the color red that you know from the tape. We've got the blue here and the yellow. So what I'm gonna do here is I just removed all the color, and I'm left with just the lines and kind of the cutout of of the background here. So I am just going to try to do like a very literal coloring if I can. I've got a couple brushes here in Photoshop that I think should help me out, but it's going to be difficult because I'm not an artist. I'm not an illustrator, not a graphic designer or anything, but yeah. So, yeah, I got the 120 print. Nathan, actually, I kind of was wondering if people which one they would enjoy more, either the 120 or Nathan, who was the first person to buy one of the prints, got the 420 print, since we gave away the first 3 as prizes, and then we gave away, Pat and I got the last 2, and then Jess, the guy who did the artwork, we gave him 18 out of 20. So I think I have 20 out of 20. But we wanted to make sure that the people who, like the listeners, got them from the top. So, all right, what's going on, Jason? Cool. So again, I've got this kind of off to the side here on my screen. I'm going to, color it in and see. I keep messing up and coloring stuff on the wrong line, so I'm going to try my absolute hardest to remember to always paint on the right layer, but it's super duper hard. Alrighty, so I'm kind of cheating. I've got this magic wand here that's going to select like the basically we can make it so I can't draw out of the lines. The problem is we miss some of the edge here, so I made a couple of different automations in here. I can expand it 3 pixels, so it kind of brings it just outside the line. So when I paint, and I'm just going to start on this banner, actually get a nice brown color here. And I do want to say this Wacom tablet that I'm painting on right now, you all in the Patreon paid for half of it. So I'm really appreciative. We worked on a new logo for the show, and I was having a really hard time coming up with something with Jess. We were trying to find something that kind of translated from the tattoo style into something that would be kind of a cleaner, like a logo, something that's simple, it's kind of flat, and we are really, really struggling. So I was looking out to like hiring someone on Fiverr possibly to help us make a logo. And we've been burned so many times on Fiverr that I decided, rather than spending the $100 to have someone probably just completely fuck it up, I was going to put that 100 from the Patreon towards this Wacom tablet, which was about double that. So so I made the logo myself, this is not the logo. I'll show that. I don't know if I want to do it later today or possibly next week. But honestly, I think it's kind of brilliant. If I do say so myself, I got lucky on a pretty good idea. So with thanks, man. Thanks, Jason. I don't know how much of a delay there is until you guys hear me, but I do appreciate the love in the comments. Yeah, bowling. So oh god, what video was it? Someone did a video on like the physics of bowling lanes and how the oil on it works, and it's pretty intense how picky people can be about the pattern of the oil. Like, I didn't know that, and I was even someone that did like a Saturday morning boys league, and I think you probably hear me talk about it on the show a lot that I was significantly less athletic than my friends, and my best game ever with no bumpers was a 191, but my average was something closer to like 110, 120, and I cried a lot. I was a tearful little kid, and if I didn't get a good game, I was afraid my friends would hate me, so I cried, which of course then they hated me because I was embarrassing the absolute shit out of them in front of all the big kids. But oh well. This looks a little bit like poop. I don't know if I like this brown. I knew a guy who bowled a 300, and this dude loved talking about oil. So we talk about Dan Majeski on the podcast a lot. He was this kid that I went to St. James with. I grew up around the corner with. If you watched the vlog that I did on the YouTube channel, I kind of went around Erie and spent I think it was a 70-minute video of all the places that were significant. Drove by his house and talked about the place we used to skate on his curb out there. So in high school, he had already bowled 5 perfect 300s, which is, there's 10 frames. You have to bowl. It's essentially 10, 11, 12 strikes in a row, I think it is, to get a perfect 300. I don't know, man. The kid was just freakishly good at bowling, and this is one of the guys I was on a bowling team with. So when I'm rolling 110s and he's rolling perfect games, I definitely brought the average of our team down a bit, and that haunted me always. So damn, Photoshop is running terribly because OBS is just destroying my CPU. I've got a 12-core CPU, and it's struggling to keep up. Anyway, as you can see with this stippling brush, I'm trying to kind of recreate this tattoo style thing here. And since we have these bumpers, I can draw over the letters and outside of the lines, and it just kind of doesn't let it happen. It constrains my brush strokes to the lines, which is dope. You took a bowling class for a PE credit in college. That's so awesome. We had a golf, I think it was called Golf Nets in high school, where we were the first class who were able to just, I think we actually walked. It was maybe 3/4 of a mile to a golf course, and for gym we just golfed. The walk took so long though that we probably only got 3 holes in, but it seemed like such a scam to just in school golfing. But hey, I wasn't gonna complain. I really loaded up my sophomore and junior years of high school so that my senior year could basically be a blow off, because I had never really intended on going to college. Oh, I just hate this color. All right, this is the beauty about digital painting, is that I can just kind of in one shot change change the color here to something a little less poopy, because it's really poopy. A bowling class in college though, that's I don't know what college you went to or whatever, but just thinking of how expensive my own college was, those are some expensive games of bowling, dude. But if you gotta do it, you gotta do it. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. How does it sound and look to all of you? Is it okay? Let's see. Yeah, I think my CPU is just really pissed off right now. Which again, I don't know how much more money you could spend on a computer than I did on this one, and it's still just barely keeping up. Super lame. Let's close out of some of this shit. Shift, get the hell out of here. Alright, it's a little less poopy. So let me go over with some different colors. Oh, I need to, select, get those bumpers bumping. Alrighty. Get some shading in there. It's a bit blurry. Yeah, streaming is not my shit usually, because I'm filming in 1080 on a DSLR. I've got the screen cap. I think it's just my CPU is struggling to keep up, is the problem. Bum, 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 bum. Let me see if I can figure this out a little bit. Don't exit the stream. Alright, yeah. YouTube's not going to give me shit. I think it's an OBS. I've been watching more people streaming on Twitch lately, and it's kind of funny how often I'm like, man, they spend a lot of time just trying to get their thing working properly. But I am hardwired to fiber internet, so I don't know. YouTube's just going to give me what it gives me, it seems like. Everything is technically optimized on my end. It's just being a little whiny baby. Am I even... Okay. I'm glad you enjoyed that video. I really intended on like making this real simple. I think I told Pat like no more than 17 minutes, and I filmed for like 4 hours and just had I don't know, a really, really good time. And then I spent so long editing that damn thing. But I'm pretty proud of how it came out. I was pretty happy with it. Yeah, my own mental health can't help but just doing way too much with it. I'm gonna take a break from this banner because I feel like it's like not actually painting. I think my computer is just in absolute panic mode right now. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to start coloring some of these rose petals in. I'm gonna get all of the ones that are going to be completely red. Red. Let's see. Bang. 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 I'm going to run my little automation here to kind of feather that out a little bit. And, actually, I forgot to pick my foreground color. Alright, I'm just going to color this in completely. Let's get a nice red. Let's do a hard brush here. Bro. Oh my goodness. Alright. Oh, I colored on the wrong layer. I'm going to do that every time. Okay. Now, how about if I just fill with the foreground color? Bang. Dope. Alright. Yeah, this is just some like royalty-free lo-fi that I found on YouTube somewhere that I don't know, wanted something a little more interesting than just my voice. Bro, I did like 4 test streams and they all ran so smoothly. But not when it matters the most. It's making it real hard to color in the lines here. There's so much delay. Oh my god. Whatever. We're not here to be perfect. We're here to have fun. By the way, have you listened to Taylor Swift's Red Taylor's version yet? pretty fun, but the drum production is awful. I gotta figure out what's going on with this damn computer, because it's actually just really hard for me to even do anything right now. Let's see. I don't think it's the people. My computer's saying that no application is actually responsive right now. The Cinderella song. Turn my laptop fan on and see if that helps. It's not overheating. Oh, dude, it's worth it though. I don't know, it's fun. The From the Vault songs are always fun to listen to. I know Pat was saying he was having a hard time getting through it. That album means something different to him than it does to me. So he hasn't listened to Taylor's version either. But I did manage to catch the premiere of the All Too Well short film, because All Too Well is an absolutely incredible song. And I don't know if you've heard it yet, but Soupy, Dan Campbell from the Wonder Years, did a cover, an acoustic cover of All Too Well. I think it might have been under Aaron West. I don't really remember. But it was a lot of fun. And he said the F word in it, which Taylor is not afraid to do these days, so that's cool. OBS. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? It's possible my computer is just like in the middle of crashing right now. If it does crash, I'll post another link. I don't know. Back to December. That's a good one. I think my all-time favorite, I mean, I don't know. It's pretty expected, I guess. But Blank Space, like, you just can't really beat that song for me. I love the way she did it live on the 1989 World Tour. If I can take, like, if I can go back and redo something in my life, I mean, there's obviously bigger things than this, but I would love to go to the 1989 World Tour. That would be something I'd really enjoy, because, yeah, the way they did Blank Space live was a whole lot of fun. I really enjoyed that, and the song is just incredible. Alright, I'm going to, again, just trying to copy pretty literally. KP's here. The winner of the coloring contest. I'm suddenly nervous. But I'm pretty literally trying to color this the same way that Jess did, who did the artwork and did the flash sheets. He uses Procreate, not Photoshop, and so I'm not really sure of like what his process was exactly. I did it on the wrong layer again. God, I hate myself. I'm just gonna do that over and over the next however long I'm doing this. I still don't really know yet. Okay, let's do it again. God, so dumb. Oh boy. Okay. Really focused on just the edges, getting them to be like a nice kind of fade out, and then I'll go in and change it to a soft round brush to kind of fill in everything else. I think I might have overdid it on the edges. Fill it out a little bit. Dope. That's pretty cool. MS Paint Classic, that's Pat's favorite as well. Katie, do you get like a smoothing option on that digital artboard? Because that has been a really great thing to find in Photoshop, is you can kind of smooth out the edges so it compensates for terrible handwriting as I have. So what are you all up to today? It is the weekend. I've got some editing to do for some client shows, and I am prepping for Jess, who did the artwork. We're actually going to do an interview tomorrow, so he's going to be on episode 250, holy shit, to talk about us coming up together in Erie and kind of get his perspective on a lot of the stuff that Pat and I talk about, so that'll be kind of fun. He's a pretty good friend of mine, and we had a lot of fun working on this together, so I'm excited to have him on because he worked super duper hard on this project for us, with us. It was fun and collaborative. All right, that was pretty cool. Let's see. Forza, going to a game night. Nice. Are you on PS4? What's that on? It's a racing game, right? I'm gonna add a new layer for this shading. There's gonna be some erasing happening for sure. Really cool if I could see what I'm painting in real time. There's like a 1 second delay for me as well. Get this guy right there. Cool beans. Get some of this. Some of that. This guy, this little pen's cool because you can just like turn it around and use the back as an eraser, like an actual pen would. And I don't know why, that's just like such a fun and cute feature that I really love. Okay. Get all this off, all the yellow. Run 11 miles. God. I know it's not your intention, but every time I see you running a casual weekend marathon, I suddenly feel super bad about myself. Oh, man. But that's okay. Fun. Pet sitting for your parents. It's snowing here, and they're in Florida. It's snowing in Florida? Thanks, Melissa. I don't know if you caught it earlier, but the Patreon helped me pay for it because I bought this in lieu of paying someone to work on our logo, which I think we do have up on the Patreon at the moment for people to see, but we haven't really done a whole lot with it yet. But it is technically there for people to see. Alright, I'm going to get some of this yellow spray in there. That's not yellow. Do we get snow in North Carolina? I don't think we got a ton last year, but we definitely did get some. It's not super intense, although we are kind of in the mountain area, but I'm not really in mountains or anything here. Oh, you dummy. No. Okay, well, we just got yellow up there anyway. That's a pretty cool looking rose. I dig that. Okay. Move on to the leaves here. Let's take this guy, and this guy, and this guy. Let's find a nice deep green, and I'm going to run my little automation here. Expand and fill. That's not dark enough. It needs to be way darker. I did it on the lines layer, you bastard. So you've probably heard on the podcast that Pat and I grew up in one of the snowiest cities in the country. It's usually like a tie between us, Erie, Buffalo, New York, and some like city in Alaska. And I mean, I'm talking like 250 inches of snow a season. And we, back then, school days didn't like really exist for our county. We just had to go. And I guess they're doing away with snow days in school, or they're trying to, because of the ability to kind of do it virtually, which is insane. It was insane. Baby bears, any more crash your neighbor's trash. So we had one of the bears take a pumpkin off of our neighbor's porch, and it was actually pretty cute. They like brought it over near our trash and ate the pumpkin right in front of our trash can, and kind of like left it half scratched at, half eaten. And I don't know, man. I fear them because my dog would get eaten in a second, but they are so cute, man. Like, bears are just great. You know, I actually have a lot of dreams about bears, which my wife, who's into a lot of the, you know, more spiritual end of things, talks about spirit animals, and kind of like their deeper meaning and all of that stuff. And apparently bears represent change, and I think I've gotten better over the years, but I've always feared change a little bit. I guess it depends on what it is. I feel like I'm in a huge season of change right now, which is pretty great. I've needed it, because other than this art project we've been working on, there's been like not a lot to like, I don't know, every day just kind of started to feel a little bit like the same. So I'm trying to shake that shit up. No snow days because of virtual. Oh god, that sucks. Emma gave us snow days last year from Mental Health Day. Yeah, let's normalize mental health days, man. Got us working too goddamn much. This is a fun little trick that I've noticed Jess did. You kind of make a selection and pull it off a little bit, so that when you color the leaves in, you get like that little bit of a white spot there, and I think that's looks really rad to like not quite have that colored in. Oh, I had some questions in the Patreon. Looks like the stream is doing better now. I don't know what changed. I'm glad glad that's working for you. Let's see. What were the questions that I had here? All right, Katie asked in the Patreon, what do you listen to music or white noise or anything to fall asleep? So I've gone through seasons of this, I guess. And there was a while where I could only fall asleep when listening to like super heavy music at like ear-splitting volumes. I remember I was falling asleep listening to my friend's band, Immoralist, and they are just like Whitechapel, pretty much, real heavy stuff. And my roommate came home, and it was just like shaking the walls. And he came in thinking I was like, I don't know, rocking out my bedroom, and he just saw me, fast asleep in the bed. But lately, so we have Amazon Echoes in every room in the house, and I set up automation so that when I say goodnight, it turns off all of the hue lights, all of the smart switches. God, I did on the line layer. Fuck, I'm so bad at that. Okay. It turns off, all the hue lights, all the smart switches. So theoretically, it turns off absolutely everything in the house. And it plays this just repeating thunderstorm sound. It was kind of like, there were a couple years where I didn't really fall asleep to any noise. So it's either that, or there is something I actually learned about in our high school psychology class about like delta brain waves, and our teacher, Mr. Taylor, gave us this CD of the Delta Sleep System by Jeffrey Thompson. And there was like a few months where my wife and I were sleeping in different rooms because she was with the baby and he was up a lot at night and I was still working. So I was sleeping in the spare bedroom, by myself with the dog, and just blasting this like Delta Sleep System, which was like like weird noises. And I really like that. It's super calming, super comforting. It is weird though, because the sound gets like very weird in the back half. So like back when it came out, I think it was like 99 this thing came out, and it was 2 CDs. So I ripped both CDs into iTunes and put it on my iPod or whatever. So there's like a part 1 and part 2, and I would always be asleep before part 2 came on, and part 2 was fucking weird, man. It has these like weird alien laser sounds, like pa-choo, pa-choo. And the other night I woke up in the middle of it, and I've like fallen asleep to this on and off since I was 16, so like literally almost half a lifetime, and I've never heard those sounds before because it's so good at putting me to sleep. So yeah, to answer your question, I do always have something on when I go to sleep. I cannot sleep without some kind of noise. Sometimes it's music, but rarely. It's mostly either white noise or thunderstorms or whatever. Katie also asks, is Pat still doing the weird poker straight sleeping thing? I don't know, but I fucking hope so, because that was one of the weirdest stories I've ever heard him tell. Like, I know, honestly, it feels like we are all getting to know Pat together somehow. Like, I don't know, he's not that much of an open book. So I feel like every week I'm learning something new about him as well, and that is just super fun to me. He's the weirdest guy I've ever met in my life, and it's just great. After all these years, the lines layer, God bless it. Okay. After all these years, it's great. There's still things to learn about your best friend. It's pretty fun. Another question. Nathan asks, what do you think of those Felt Emo Again Might Delete or Emo's Not Dead viral parody videos? Are they a funny homage or just emo cultural appropriation? I think they're fucking hilarious. I really, Well, I don't know. It seems like Matt Cutshall, like as it's getting more popular, he's like getting the people who wrote the songs in the videos, and part of me really, really thinks that's funny. But other times it's kind of like, like it's, I don't know if it's like a weird hipster thing to be like, it was funnier when it was like a more underground. Now that it's more like legit or whatever, it's, I don't know. I still think it's pretty funny. I enjoy it. I spent probably like an hour or so with my wife the other day just watching his videos. Yeah, I don't know, man. Pat lives for the laughs, and I appreciate his go to any length attitude of comedy. He's a funny dude. I've always I think I might have like recently told him about this, that like I felt so threatened by him in high school. Like we were best friends, but like whenever Pat was around, it was like, and even like I don't think Pat enjoyed it a lot of the time. It was just like all eyes on Pat. Everyone just loved him so much, and it was hard to matter when Pat was in the room. And I mean, I can't blame him for that. He was just an insanely nice, funny dude, and is to this day. But he was always just so goddamn funny, and it was hard to, like I said, I did on the fucking line layer. God, I hate myself. It was hard to stand out in a room when Pat was there, but only because he's such an awesome guy. All right. God, I feel like I keep doing things over and over, so I can't remember to do it on the right goddamn layer. Is this fun, guys? Are you having fun? Suddenly getting really self-conscious. Oh boy, okay. Please validate me. Have I heard from Pat recently? We actually recorded an episode together not too long ago. What was it? Tuesday. I mean, we talk every day. We rarely will go a full 24 hours without talking. So yeah, we recorded, it was the first episode we did since he had his kid not too long ago, and fuck, we were rusty. Like the first few minutes are not our best work. I will warn you all now, but that's not going to be out for like another 3 or 4 weeks, because we backlogged quite a bit, because I didn't really say too much about it on the show, just because it felt I don't know, I don't really think anything's too like private for the show or anything, but I really struggled mentally when my son showed up. I don't know if anyone in the chat has had a kid, but it was a total mindfuck with like, who am I, and being like the male partner for the first 2 months. There was just like, he wanted Megan, my wife, I felt like there wasn't a whole lot I could do for him, but at the same time, Megan, like, I did on the fucking lines layer, dude. I am such an idiot. Oh my god. But yeah, he just wanted food, and that's all he really wanted, since I wasn't spending like a ton of time with him because I was working. It felt really hard to get that connection at first, and I really struggled with it. But around 2 months, Jasper started smiling when he saw me, and I don't know if it's just like vanity or what, but it was like, oh, this is I don't know, something changed. That, and when we around 2 months, babies get their normal vaccinations, so we took him in for all the normal shit, and it was the first time that I had seen him cry where I understood the catalyst for why he was crying. Every other time it was I don't get it, you've got everything you possibly need, why are you crying? But understanding he's in pain, I don't know, it knocks some empathy into me, and from that point on it's been felt a lot easier to connect with him. But anyway, that whole story just to say I really needed those 2 or 3 months to not, I don't know, to not do the show, kind of, just because I was just trying to figure out what the fuck was going on, man. It was so hard. So I'm trying to give him as much time because I really needed it and appreciated it. So we backlogged 7 episodes, and we're doing some interviews to get him some time to, figure out what the fuck is going on, because it's nuts. Yeah, Pat's baby came over a month ago, month and a half maybe. Yeah, Jason, he struggled too. It gets a lot easier. We are actually in the process of sleep training right now, which I was so afraid of that word, because it kind of made me think it was just let them cry endlessly in the room. But there's we found out there's all these different methods of it that basically are depending on how much you want to let them cry it out. And Megan and I really didn't want him to cry it out too much, so we did this thing over the past 3 nights where he's finally sleeping in his own room. I'm sleeping in my room again for the first time in forever, and he's just doing so well. Sleeping, he slept from 7:30 until 1:30 in the morning, and then slept again until 6:30, and in a few days he went from crying quite a bit, and we would go in every 3 minutes that he was crying to kind of try to console him. But he went from really hating it to sleeping pretty fucking well in the matter of just 2 days. So we're now trying to get him to nap in his in the nursery, and that seems harder than sleeping through the night somehow. But yeah, man, it's nice to be getting the house more set up, because we had this spare bedroom that we were waiting to have be his nursery, but I was sleeping in there, my mother-in-law was sleeping in there for a while, so it was kind of this everything else room, and because of that, stuff was hanging out in the dining room. So we're finally getting a house put together, and we've lived here for a year. Yeah, man, I was afraid of the sleep training, but Megan slept well for the first time in 6 months last night, and she was really needing it. That looks pretty cool, right? I'm really hating this banner still. I feel like I'm just gonna undo all that. Oh man, I'm sorry guys. You sleep trained your middle when we found out we were having our newest one. Do you have 3 kids, Jason? No judgment. I'm just curious. That's 3 feels like a good number. I think we might only have 2. I don't want him to be alone. Having a built-in friend seems like a pretty good deal. I have a sister that is 20 months older than me, and my wife is an only child, and she definitely wishes that she had siblings, so we're gonna make sure to give them that. Cheating. I did on the lines layer again. Okay. Fill. Bang. 4, 3, and 2 months. Or sorry, 4, 2, 3 months. Nice, man. Congratulations on all your family success. That's crazy, man. I'm curious, how does 2 feel compared to 1? And then how does 3 feel to 2? Because what I'm hoping for is that, I mean, 1 was so hard, and I'm hoping that 2 isn't going to be 200% the effort, you know? But I really don't know. I don't know. All right, what am I doing? All right, I'm going to try that thing where we pull it off the edge a little bit. And let's see. Yeah. Not color on the lines layer. Going from 1 to 2 is rough. Don't tell me that. No, I want honesty for sure. But I'm sure it's hard. Yeah, different kind of hard. I feel like I could do difficult, but I just feel like the mental transition from 0 to 1 was unlike anything I could have imagined it feeling like. And I mean, we're still working on it, man. Like, who we are, our identity as a human being who's also a parent when it feels like there's no time to do anything but parent. Why does it keep changing my brush size? I want all the stippling to be 90 pixels. I've been having so much fun playing around with digital painting lately. I found this YouTube channel called Art with Flow, and she does these like vector style painting things, and it's like something you can do pretty quickly in a few minutes. And you know, like little mountain scenes, like not a lot of texture or detail, just some pretty cool, I don't know, it's like a fun way to spend 20 minutes. I've always wanted to be good at art, but I think the permanence of laying paint onto a canvas was very scary to me. So the ability to like undo shit is pretty crucial. As you can imagine, I do enjoy a good Command Z. And like the ability to like not be able to go out of the lines if you tried. That's obviously a plus. I painted on the whatever. I'm going with it. These roses are looking pretty cool. I think these back here need a little bit more stippling. Let's see. Brush black. Yeah, give it some depth, some texture. Man, I'm really happy with that. Answer some more questions. Nathan asks, I saw you like woodworking. What are some things that you've made? Sure. Man, if I can pull up, let's see, Instagram. So I had an Instagram briefly for my woodworking. I loved it so much. Let's see. I can't find OBS, so I'm not sure what you all can see here. But this was my my Instagram for when I was doing woodworking. Actually, the first podcast I ever listened to was by AbsolutePunk.net, and they're now Encore. But one of the hosts, he had a lot of Funko Pops, so I made this shelf for him. This was a 1/4-inch cherry MDF, and all of the edges are hardwood details. So it's like a little shelf for his Funko Pops. That was a lot of fun to try to figure that out. A couple like walnut picture frame, a little what's that wood called? It's like it's not curly maple, but it's something similar. So I edged it in this walnut kind of a crown molding kind of situation, and I had our CNC operator use the laser etcher to put in the nail and gear from the Hello Internet podcast, and I sent that to Brady Heron out in London. I made a chessboard for my dad that I'm honestly super fucking proud of. This is walnut. It's all hardwood, so this is 100% hardwood. It is sapele mahogany. It is hardwood maple, and then more mahogany and maple inlays, and then a walnut edge, and then this corner detail. You can kind of see it in here. You cut like I actually have a photo of it. You run it through a table saw in this jig at a 45, so it cuts right through there. And then you fill it with a little strip of maple, and it adds a ton of support for the miters. But it was already like, I put what were they called? This is from 2016. This is 5.5 years ago. But Dados? Tongue and groove? I don't know. Like, this thing was not falling apart. I really hooked it up. But yeah, I was really, really proud of that. I had a lot of fun. I made a pedal board for my friend AJ, who, if you've never heard the artist Bogues, I would definitely recommend you check them out. Bogues. I grew up with him a little bit in like Virginia, and he's like, was he on Pure Noise? I don't know. He was on some fucking sick record label touring a lot, and I built this pedal board for him. I had it so that the power supply, see if I can find it. Nah, I didn't take a photo. The power supply was actually mounted underneath the board, so you can put the cords right into the board there, so you didn't have a bunch of wires hanging out. Quarter sawn sapele picture frame with a mirror finish. And yeah, and for the good fight, of course, if you want to look cool in a band, you need a light box. So I built this thing out of just like 2x4s and some 1/8-inch walnut veneered plywood. Put some work lamps in there, and this is one of our last shows. Look at that fucking vein popping out of my neck. Yeah, our drummer had a drum set you can plug in, and I had that, so that was pretty much our stage lighting. And this is the first thing I ever made. It is a walnut, cherry, and maple cutting board, and again, our CNC operator routed this juice groove all the way around, and it was for like my sister's ex-boyfriend's grandfather for Christmas. He used to be a butcher, so those are his initials in there. So those are some things that I made, and I had a lot of fun making them. I miss it a lot, and I actually just made a friend who has a wood shop, so I'm hoping to get back into some woodworking projects because I super miss it. Actually, for the prints, I really wanted to be able to sell prints in like a custom walnut frame, but I figured it'd probably be too expensive to even make sense. And of course, I don't have the resources to do it anyway. So that's woodworking. I miss it. I got into it during the whole pallet craze, and I was taking pallets out of everyone's fucking dumpsters and building all kinds of really awful looking shit with it. Alright, I'm going to come back to this banner. I'm going to expand. Let's find a less poopy color. What is my problem? Okay. Oh, thanks, Jason. That song is still poopy. The song meant a lot to me, man. That was me, like, really in the absolute darkest time in my life when I wrote that song. And writing back then really helped me kind of figure stuff out. I still have like all of those original notebooks and stuff that I wrote all that stuff on. It's fun to go back and listen to or read some stuff that like never went out. I mean, when we broke up, we were working on a 7-song EP, and honestly, I thought the songs were like super good. And so we have like 7. I'm drawing on the wrong fucking layer again. We're like 7 partially done songs that I would really love to finish, but like the things I was writing about, I don't really like feel that shit anymore. And honestly, it's been really hard to write music, because I think the joke of the pop punk stuff is like, oh, you're upset because some girl broke up with you or whatever. But like, I don't know, that stuff was just, when I was singing in The Good Fight and writing those songs, that's definitely what I was feeling the most. There was this girl that I thought I was gonna marry. She had kids, and I fucking fell in love with her kids. And we were like making plans of like after I graduated, I'd move down there to be with her. And one day she just broke up with me. Not a whole lot of explanation. So that was pretty fucking brutal. And that's right when we were writing that EP. So Everything Was Fleeting was like trying to, like, I think the way I described it as at the time was like a reluctant hopefulness of like, it was like turn my life around, a few things that keep me going, but everything is fleeting. Because at that time I thought I had the rest of my life planned out with this woman, and it was just taken away with not a whole lot of like warning or anything. So it was kind of like, well, I think I'm okay, but I've also been here before. So that's what that was all about. And then it happened to be one of the days that Ryan Dunson, the singer of Rookie of the Year, was in town, and we kind of somehow became friends over the years. And he came and laid down some vocals, and he ended up doing a bit of vocal production where he reworked some of the parts that I think really made the song what it is now. Coming out of the second verse specifically, I think he really kind of made that song what it was. So really appreciative of him just kind of popping over. I think his like cousin lived in Northern Virginia where I was living at the time, so he would come and hang out sometimes, and it was a good time. Alright, that's less, it's still kind of poopy. I don't know what it is. I might be too dark, because like okay, let me go in here and start filling in these letters. Trying to do something similar to what Jess did. I'm gonna leave kind of this like open portion. Use a little lasso tool here to kind of frame that out. Yeah. That's pretty cool, but I am afraid it's going to be too dark with this brown. Oh well. Let's just send it. Still getting used to this pen tool, but dude, I am straight up. I seriously 100% bought it with the intention to return it after I finished working on this logo, and I just kind of fell in love with it, so it's mine now. Been having a lot of fun. There's like, I've had a really big desire for some kind of activity that's not related to audio, and for a while it was skateboarding, and God, I really fucked up my wrist about a month and a half ago. Probably the worst sprain I've ever had. I was at the park for like 30 seconds and I hit a pebble as I was like getting a ton of speed to go up this quarter pipe, and I ate shit so hard I slammed right into the quarter pipe. It happened before I really even had time to like react or anything, and I thought my wrist was broken. It hurts so bad. My neck still hurts. My hip still hurts. My knee was all fucked up, and it's been like a month and a half. But anyway, I needed an activity that was like quiet, easy to do on my own, and kind of like relaxing. I didn't want it to feel like work. And lately it's been just kind of like playing around with some digital painting and stuff. So I've been enjoying this tablet a ton. I guess I could have just, whatever, who cares? Yeah, that's good enough. Yeah, Jason, it pissed me off, dude, because like I hadn't skated really much this year because, again, with the kid, it like really kind of fucks with your brain. Like, I don't have health insurance, you know, and I'm like really scrambling to get, I want to be out of debt in 2 years, and I had like $110,000 of student loans. So it feels like way more urgent with the kid here. Like, the school systems in Asheville are not great, so we really want to send Jasper to private school, and that's like $1,000 a month or some shit. So I want to get all of my student loans paid off in the next couple years, so it frees up some money. So without health insurance, being a fucking American, if I break a wrist, I mean, that's, you know, another $50,000 of debt to pay off. So I haven't skated because I've been afraid of hurting myself. And I was like talking to my therapist about like, man, I really want to go skating again. He was like, you just got to go, man. Just go do it and trust that it'll be okay, that you'll be fine. And seriously, I track like all my, I like to know how many calories I burn when I'm skating. So I track it on my watch. So I hit start and I fell after 37 seconds. And I was so pissed that it was like, I purposefully didn't skate so I didn't hurt myself, and just immediately did. And it was like, oh. My wife just said you should live stream your COVID test results. We got tested for COVID yesterday because we were not feeling good. Hers came back negative. I haven't received anything. I was afraid I didn't even do it right, so maybe it was inconclusive, but she doesn't have COVID, so that's fucking great. It means I probably don't. Or at least that's what I'll believe anyway. I feel a lot better today anyway, so all good. Okay, I'm gonna get these clouds filled in a little bit. This is, I actually have a swatch of Reminiscent Green, Reminiscent Red, and Reminiscent Yellow. So I can just kind of select those, make sure I'm not on the lines layer, and I'm going to label it so that I know what I'm doing. Is 90 big enough? Oh, you know what? I need to get a denser shade in here. Man. So he kind of kept off the edges. I'm not sure how he did it so finely. The thing that is kind of a bummer about these stippling brushes is that you can change the size of each individual dot all at once, but you can't really change like the amount of like spray. Like I can't make this a smaller cluster here. So it makes it a little hard to work with. And if you change the size, it makes the dots smaller, which isn't really the effect that I'm looking for. But I think this is good enough. Again, I'm not doing anything with this. I'm just vibing. Really been trying to make an effort to enjoy my weekends more rather than just like white knuckle working through them. Trying to deal with the anxiety in a more productive way, which I tricked myself into thinking that working was productive. Of course it is. How can it not be? But I've got a family that I would really love to hang out with these days, so I'm gonna chill the fuck out with all of that. And yeah, still try to take some time for myself, not give it all to my clients. And also, a big part of that is I have so much fucking fun doing the podcast that, you know, Pat and I have talked, like in a perfect world, it would just be our job. So is there a way to make more money quicker so that there's more time to give to the podcast for it to hopefully, you know, grow and shit like that? It is growing. Painfully slow sometimes, it seems like, but day one of the podcast, Pat and I kind of agreed the show would probably never be successful, like never mean anything to anyone, and if that was the case, we wanted to do a show that was still fun to do if no one ever listened. And that was always kind of our attitude about it, that no one would ever listen. So what is something that we would still want to do anyway? Because for us, it's like, if no one listens to the show, oh, boo-hoo, I talk to my best friend every week. So it's kind of a win-win either way. But now that we've had, you know, a little bit of growth, and obviously people do like it, it's like, well, can we get more people to like it? I don't really know. I don't know. But doing these like extra projects, like the flash sheet, you know, is kind of like something that I really wanted to try, knowing that I don't think we would ever recoup the money we spent on it. But I wanted something that was just fun, you know, something that made the show more than just us talking, people listening, because I mean that's what a podcast is, but really want it to be much, much, much more than that. So doing this kind of art project, I mean, we needed new artwork anyway. Like I said at the top of this, our current artwork, I rushed it in like a day and a half just because we needed something on the wrong layer. And I think it turned out pretty cool. You know, I don't even hate our old artwork, but I think I forget what it even was. Melissa a while ago said, like, the artwork's fine, but it doesn't really represent the show. And, like, totally, no one could disagree with that. I mean, it was just we needed anything. So I don't know how many people were here at the very beginning when I was kind of explaining the artwork, and I am doing an episode with Jess, who did the artwork. We're recording it tomorrow for episode 250. The thought of this artwork was that it better represented the genre of music that we talk about, because the other stuff, it looked kind of corporate. It didn't really like say much about the show. So, you know, Pat and I were kind of discussing like themes in pop punk or whatever, and I said, you know, tattoos kind of plays into that whole world of shit. So we knew we wanted to be tattoo themed, and I kind of just let Jess, you know, we knew we wanted a cassette, which there was a lot of discussion about, does a cassette even make sense? Because we're talking about the years, you know, 2000 to 2010. Cassettes were already dead. However, a CD, which was the format at that time, is not very like visually stunning. So we stuck with the cassette, knowing that it was, oh my god, I hate myself. Knowing that it wasn't the right time period, but I think for the sake of having something that looked interesting, we went with a cassette. Pat did raise the question of what if it was my blue iPod, which is why that ended up in the artwork. But I didn't want people to think it was like an Apple show. I didn't want Apple to sue us, because, like, you know, they pretty much own the podcasting industry. So I wasn't trying to get our show booted off of Apple, because if you're not on Apple, you're nowhere. So it was really important we didn't get kicked off. So we just went with the cassette, and it was really important that I'm not even like that attached to the colors in our artwork, but it's just like what it is, and trying to like not lose the kind of branding we've been working on. So reincorporating those colors back into it, and I really like the way that Jess did it. I think they really understood the assignment and came back. You know, I had this like really shitty drawing, like a sketching of pencil on paper, and was like kind of like this, but as someone who has worked with a lot of different tattoo artists, I know that they always feel the best when they can do their own spin on the tattoo. It usually turns out better when you kind of like give them enough creative input. And that's why it's important to like go to a tattooer that you just know is going to kill it. Because you want them to kind of do whatever they want, but you want to know that if they do what they want, that you're still going to want that on your body. So I really liked Jess's work, and I knew that he would do a good job with the artwork. Yeah, the iPod looks so cool in the or is it? Yeah. I thought it was so funny. Like, he put the sad face on there, which I thought was hilarious. Our old logo, when he put the colors back in. It was a lot of fun. And by the way, if you all look at the flash sheet and the CD case, I was wondering how long it would take for someone to let us know what all of those albums are in there. So y'all can take a look at that for some Easter eggs. Okay. We're still getting at it. I would totally get matching tattoos with all of you. Pat and I were like, what if someone actually does get these tattooed on them? Pat, being the biggest worrier ever, his immediate thought was like, well, what if someone gets it tattooed and the tattoo gets fucked up somehow and they sue us? Just like total panic mode at all times. I told him to not worry about that too much, but I was like, should we, if someone actually does get this tattooed, we gotta do something big. So he was like, I don't know, we can give him our phone numbers. So if you ever wanted to call me or Pat at midnight, just say what's up. If you get tattooed, you can buy our love. Just kidding. I think it'd be a lot of fun though. Yeah, right. You got it for sure. That one. Yeah. That's a hard album to miss. No. Alright, still drawing these yellow sprays. Hopefully I've caught everything in the chat here. Were there more questions in Patreon? I know I did a last minute, so there weren't a ton. Yeah, this music fucking bangs, man. I really like it. If anyone's curious, it is Stream Beats by Harris Heller. This album is called White. And it's just like music that isn't licensed, so you can stream it on YouTube and Twitch without getting sued, which is obviously dope. And actually, doing the survey, quite a few people were like, man, it would be cool if you could play the music in the show, like the songs that we talk about. And like, yeah, that would be my dream. Unfortunately, it is so difficult and so expensive to license music for podcasting. It's like still a kind of a weird like royalty structure where the licensing is like a sync fee, which I guess is like similar to like what it would be if you used it in a movie non-diegetically, which is expensive, and also like just getting in touch with anyone about licensing it has proven to be difficult for a lot of people. And since on the podcast we do hashtag bangers only, I don't think it'll ever be something, unfortunately, that we are ever able to accomplish. And even if we were, the process of acquiring licenses would be like hours and hours and hours of work, just in and of itself, just to do that. So I don't think that even if we had the ability, that it would be something that we have time for, which is super unfortunate. Why don't you think you could get a tattoo, Melissa? Do you not have any? I think you might have said that at one point. Those clouds go. Okay, I'm going to load up my colors here, and I'm going to get some real small yellow bursts in here. See what I mean? Like the spread, I don't know if you can see those dots in there. The spread of this is so big no matter like how small you really make the brush. So at this point you can't, you know what? I want this to be underneath. So I'm going to add another layer, put it underneath these blue clouds. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I have tattoos about like Christian tattoos from when I was religious, and a few tattoos that are not relevant at all. And I don't really regret it. Like, I wouldn't get it now, obviously, but it's I am not proud of my Christian faces. But it's still like a very important part of my story. So I kind of don't mind them being there, although it's like a pretty abstract Christian thing anyway. So I think if it was like a big cross with like, I don't know, prayer hands or something, I might have regretted that a little more. So it's hard to say. But anyway, like there's some tattoos I have that are like my friends who were new to tattooing just kind of practicing on me, and they look terrible. And I don't really regret it, but that's just me. Pat does not have any tattoos. I've been trying to get him for a long time to get matching tattoos with me and Zach, because Zach is his arms and chest are pretty good and covered as well. And Pat, I think he just like, I think he said he just doesn't really, there's nothing he feels strong enough about to like have it on display on him forever. And I think that's pretty fucking lame. Just kidding. But I feel like I'm at the point where like I just want, well, I haven't been tattooed in a long time, just because it's like not financially a priority. I got most of my tattoos when I was like 20, 21, not making a ton of money. I think I was making at that time $10.50 an hour, and I was paying someone between $150 and $200 an hour to tattoo me. So I was like working all week for a tattoo session. I eventually became friends with the tattooer and the piercer, so I got like huge hookups and stuff. And I was getting tattooed about like on average every month and a half for like 2 years. I was getting tattooed. And then eventually just like money needed to go other places. Mostly to struggling to pay rent for like a long time. It was just struggling. And now that I'm like doing okay financially and have like money and savings for the first time in ages, I don't like getting tattooed is not a priority. So it's, I don't know, there's like a weird irony to like when I couldn't afford it is when I did it the most. Now that I can't afford it, I don't know, I'd rather buy like a new microphone or something. Which, by the way, I don't know if you saw this, the Patreon also paid for this whole art project. And we bought Pat a new microphone, so he now has the Shure SM7B like I do. So it'll make, for me, the process of mixing the podcast a lot easier, because we were on two different style of microphones. And it's already like enough work to get two voices to like sound like they belong together, like in the same, tonal qualities. But when they're different microphones, it kind of amplifies that problem. And the microphone that I have is designed to kind of push the voice back a little bit, and the one that he has is designed to pull it forward. So it's like the tone of our voices were like constantly fighting with each other, and it took a lot of work to try to even that out. So thanks to you all, we put some of the Patreon money towards the mic. Pat paid for probably half of it, and I chipped in some extra for a birthday present for him. So really appreciate you all so much. Not just for the fucking money and stuff either, but like being our friends. It's really, really fucking cool. I think I'm gonna try to add, let's see, I'm gonna add a gradient here. Yeah, I think there is a part of it that's just like becoming an adult, which kind of sucks sometimes. Like I want to blow my fucking money, you know. Obviously, not a good idea. And it feels harder with like a family and shit too. Just like I can't spend as selfishly as I always have, and I'm also like covering more of the family bills than I did before too. So kind of got to grow up a little bit. Oh no! What did I do? Here we go. Hold on. I need to distress that a little bit so it matches the... So there's a set of speakers that I really want for my for the studio. And I'm at this point in audio production where like any kind of upgrade is like very, very fucking next level stuff, and it is ungodly expensive to start upgrading from the equipment that I currently have. Like it's going from, you know, $1,000 to like $5,000 if I want new speakers. So I'm like looking at like a $6,000 set of speakers, which I don't have in my bank account right now just to spend, you know? So there's like all this shit that like, I feel like it was easier when you're starting out, because like anything is better than what you have, but when you get to this like level where you're like getting from like prosumer to like professional, it all of a sudden gets just really, really difficult. And microphones are no longer, you know, $500, they're $4,000 or something. So like the next microphone I get is gonna be at least $3,000 rather than the one I'm currently on, which is like only $450. So the toys that I want are just getting harder and harder to acquire. So if I could have a new microphone or new monitors and like have it benefit my career path, I think I'm gonna save up for the monitors, because tattoos are not cheap, man. Like I spent like $6,000 on this arm and like $2,000 on the other, and that's even with like some hookups. So it's nuts. I'm not doing that these days. Okay. We're getting there. Let's see. Someone also asked questions on the... Oh yeah, Melissa asked, favorite comedy movie? Absolutely, it is Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, the second one with the bat. I just think that's the funniest movie ever. That, and I really, really love Happy Gilmore. I go back to that a lot. School of Rock is one of my favorites. Favorite horror movie? I'm not a big horror movie guy. I did watch all of the Saw movies and actually quite enjoyed those, but I think it was because there was this girl I was trying to date at the time who was really into them, so I kind of watched them with her. Was the vibe of that. But yeah, not a big horror movie. If I had to pick one, I'd say the second Harry Potter movie are at the limits of what I can handle in terms of raw fear, which should say a lot about how I handle it. Yeah, 6 months of private school, man. I think I'd rather give Jasper a solid education than... I don't know. I really do want to get my hand done, though, and my knuckles done, because even though I paid a ton of money for the full sleeve, there's like a weird part where it's supposed to have like this hard line, and it just doesn't. And the wave patterns are not very strong, so like the way I thought to save it was to extend it down to the hand and kind of bring it together. So yeah, at some point I would really, really love to get my hand tattooed and rework some of the sleeve, just because I don't like feel bad about it, but I definitely don't feel like, I don't know, I don't feel great. I don't know. Okay. Working through the tape here. I want to make sure it doesn't get too dark. So let's see what Jess did. Okay, so I'm gonna just isolate this part of the tape. It is pretty good and black there. So I'm going to fade it out towards the edges. Oh shit, wait. I'll have to come back to the you know what, no. I'll just send it. Alright. And I'll just come back and delete this part because there's like color in there. Is there anything I haven't covered in this conversation? Should I be talking about the artwork more? Not really much else to say. Oh, what the hell? I'm painting on the background? What did I do? Friggin' goofy goober? The hell? Didn't mean to do that. Go with charcoal, yeah. I'll make it not so dark here. Although I don't know how I ended up painting onto the background. Whenever I work on video editing or any kind of like Adobe stuff, my biggest downfall is always the organization of what I'm working on. Things get like out of control real fast, and then I can't remember what the fuck is going on. Okay, we'll get it really dark at the edge here. Bringing out more yeah. Any upcoming episodes? Let's see what we have planned. Maybe I'll show you guys the Google Doc. The infamous Google Doc that Pat and I always work out of. Yeah, what do we already have recorded? I usually don't like to give that stuff away. Pat's more into laying all their cards on the table. Yeah. So we did a draft on the longest song names we could think of. And there are some long ones. I'm editing that right now, which is a lot of fun. And then we also did the Flavor of the Week music video. And then every year we do some holiday themed stuff. It's always nice to, I don't know, play some games and talk about the holidays. I think one of the, if anyone has listened to the earlier episodes, one of the arcs on this show, I guess, was that like I always hate holidays. I think just from shit that happened growing up. But I'm kind of coming around to them. I like not so bitter about it anymore, and that's kind of cool. So I'm excited to do holiday stuff, which is like a relatively new feeling for me to want to do that. Christmas music is fun. I really like Hanson's Snowed In. We've definitely talked about that on the show. Relient K's Christmas album is, of course, amazing. And I guess there was like a Pop Goes Christmas thing lately that I think Pat was more tuned into than I was, but least favorite episode and why is it the Academy? I just don't like love their music. I don't know. It's not bad. It's just like I feel so neutral about it that it's like exhausting. They're not bad. It's just I would never in my life just throw on The Academy Is. But no judgment if that's your shit, because it's not bad. It's just not my shit. I don't know what that voice was. I'm so sorry. Let's get a more charcoaly. This is looking pretty sweet. What is your guys' least favorite episodes? I know we asked that on the survey, which really appreciative of everyone that did it. It offered some good insights, but also so much conflicting information. It's just like some people really love the music videos, some people really don't. So it kind of got me thinking, like, no matter what we do, we're gonna bump someone out, and that was kind of a hard thing to reckon with a little bit, but whatever. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm so relaxed right now. I hope you guys understand, like, how much I needed to just color. This music is really, really doing it for me, too. Megan and I spent a lot of time listening to Lo-Fi Girl, which used to be Chilled Cow, like the girl studying with the cat. Just lo-fi beats playing in our living room all the time. I've got this really, really nice subwoofer in the living room, and I think just bangs. I love it. Let's see. I need to do kind of an underlayer for all this tape stuff. What's the best way to do this? I think I'm just gonna get real sloppy with these. Actually, it stayed in the lines pretty well. Y'all, if I need to erase stuff, I will. Need to remember it's not permanent. The one where we were watching Fight Club and Pat just kept referring back to you. Was that was Take It Back Sunday, right? Q without the... No. Yeah, Q without the E. The thing that... Oh, you've been listening to King for Day. That's awesome. Pat's gonna be really, really happy to hear that. That song is nuts. When he was at my house, when we were prepping for my paternity leave, that we just listened to that thing on repeat for like 3 whole days. It was the first time I had ever heard it. And when he says that song took over his life, he's not exaggerating. It was nothing but that. And you have no idea how much I've had to edit out of shows where I'm just talking, answering his question, and then he'll just start fucking singing King for a Day over me for like a minute and a half straight while I'm talking, to the point where like I have to pull my earbud out not be distracted by what he's doing so that I can finish what I'm talking about. And I just edit that shit out of the show later because it's so annoying. Oh my god. We were prepping for that episode. What? I was watching Fight Club and Pat. What? The thing that's embarrassing that I think, it always bothered me when I heard like podcasts that I listen to where they're like, oh, we don't remember anything we talked about on that episode. I never remember what we talk about, even like by the time I put the episode out, and I've already listened to it twice when I go back through to do the audio and shit. So there's times on the Twitter where I'm like, don't remember at all what you guys are talking about, and it's stuff that like we said, which is embarrassing, and I feel bad about it, but I'm not sure really what to do about that. Stop being such an idiot, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to fill in the back of this tape. We're getting real close to being done. I'm going to work on the banner a little bit. Oh shit, did I delete? There's like some lines down here missing. That's okay. They got deleted at some point. That's okay. So, what do we got? Kind of this gray beige color. It's like a little more orange. And I'm not labeling any of these. Kind of just want to color in like kind of like age it a little bit, not fill it in a ton. I was also considering I would really love to do it weekly, but I was considering having some kind of stream live element to the podcast. And I've been talking with Pat and even my wife about like logistics of it. There was like almost this thought of after the show goes live, getting on Twitch or something and like live streaming the episode while I do something. I don't really know. It's like a very half-baked idea, but I would love there to be a more like interactive component, or if it was like we all listen to the episode together and I break in and director's commentary kind of stuff. I don't really know. Or maybe it doesn't need to be like the episode at all. It can just be live streaming or something. I got a new guitar and I really like want to get better at playing guitar. I actually learned how to play all of Chelsea's Smile on it. So there's like, do I get on every week and live stream something? We can all kind of hang out and talk. I don't know. The thought of that was kind of appealing to me. Oh shit, my camera's not plugged in. Hold on. It might drop out for a second as it tries to connect. Or maybe it'll just charge. Nice. Okay. Wait, Katie, you have a web blocker at work, so you can't. So we had a web blocker in high school, and I remember we kept finding websites to get around it, and it was like, I feel like Banana was in the name or something. Like we kept finding websites that would allow us to get around their web blocker, but it was like there was like a conference with all the students every day, because like the web blocker or the thing that would subvert it would like work for a day and then they would figure it out, so then we would need a new one the next day, and I don't know. Can you just use your phone? I mean, or not listening is an option. You don't have to. So this is a trick that I learned not too long ago, where if you use the pen tool to draw like any shape, you can stroke along that path with whatever brush you have active. And it's really nice for, like, I can't draw a perfectly straight line, or if you want to draw a perfect circle with whatever selector tool, you can then stroke path, which is kind of a cool trick. You can kind of move it around, change the brush size to something bigger. I don't know if pastel is the right brush. It does take a little trial and error to figure out. Yeah, I don't think maybe it should be, what other brushes do I have? I think charcoal pencil might be. Kate, wait, are you a teacher? I'm sorry, I can't remember all your jobs. No cell service in the building. Sounds like hell. Oh, auto select is on. God damn it. I don't know why I can't get this to work. Oh, you have no okay. Yeah, that's a bummer. Can't find the brush that I want here. Am I taking fucking crazy pills right now? What is happening? Oh, the flow. Why is the flow all the way down? I feel like I'm losing my goddamn mind. I'm trying to get this thing done for like an hour. Alright, I give up. Whatever. I'm just trying to get a little distressed looking line here, and I just cannot figure out why it's not. Oh, you dumb idiot. That's why. I had it. Oh my god. I had the layers in the wrong order. So it's been working the whole time. I'm just an idiot, is what that boils down to. Okay. Am I having fun? For a minute I was not. I couldn't figure out what was going on. I'm having a great time. I find this super relaxing. I do hope my wife is okay with the baby right now. She's been alone with him for a bit, but he might be sleeping. No real plans for the rest of the day other than got to edit a podcast. It's a travel podcast. It's pretty good, but the girl who Hosit used to be like a producer for reality TV. So she's super used to like editing the absolute shit out of a story. So she sends me these episodes with like 400 edits where she's taking parts from this sentence and parts from that one and kind of like turning these episodes into a conversation that was totally different than how it happened, which I think we've talked a little bit about the way Pat and I edit the show, which is like not very much. We take out, a few ums and us not remembering who the singer of My Chemical Romance is. But it's largely raw, take out sneezes and shit, but it's pretty raw. And that's the way I enjoy listening to podcasts. So hers is like so over the top edited, and it's so hard to clean up her work because it's so butchered. So then I just have to make it like sound natural, and a lot of times it just doesn't. Like, you just can't do that much, so I kind of like sometimes dread working on the show, which is unfortunate. It always feels kind of last minute. Anyway, so I'm working on that. Where did my path go? What does my wife do for fun? Or my client? Because right now my wife doesn't do anything for fun. It's a whole lot of baby stuff, which we're working on. Trying to have a little bit more fun in there. Oh man, I don't know what I did. I thought this would be like a shortcut, but it is just taking forever to get these lines in here. I'm really good at making a ton of work for myself, but we're just having fun. Bro, what? Why does the flow keep turning down? Yeah, so my wife actually is an artist herself. She has her undergrad was in painting and fine arts, and she has a master's in photojournalism and documentary film. And she doesn't really do much of, even before the baby, doesn't really do a ton of that anymore. But she is an herbalist as well, and she studies death work, so like helping people transition into their life in the spirit realm. So she's really doing a lot of work in that right now, like a lot of education, because she wants to be a death doula eventually and use the other modalities that she's interested in, like herbalism, crystal healing, Reiki, tarot, runes. She's gone to Sweden a few years in a row to study Norse mythology as well, so she's really into the esoteric spiritual stuff. So she's trying to do more of that now that like the baby's actually sleeping and shit. So like she has some time to continue her studies with that. And like for work, she works like a few hours a month essentially, doing show notes for some of my clients for the podcast. 'Cause she's also like a super good writer. So she does some of that in the meantime, but she had a crystal healing practice like right before the pandemic. So that obviously went away. But she would like to bring that back, which would be really cool. But it's just like, you know, we don't have anyone like here to like watch the baby or anything, so we've got to figure out childcare and stuff first, and then we can continue our lives, is kind of what it feels like. But yeah, death doula, I mean, I think that's the terminology that she uses, so it's pretty sweet. She was there for pretty much all her grandparents when they passed, and thought the experience was pretty profound, so I'd like to help others with that as well. I'm gonna copy this. We are getting there. Not that I'm in a hurry for this to end. Where's this other stuff coming from? I did on the line layer, didn't I? Oh. There we are. Yeah, my wife fucking rules, man. She's cool as shit. Super smart. I think she's super hot and really driven to do some cool shit in this world. She's got an amazing heart, so I really appreciate her. We're gonna try this banner one more time, because I am hating everything I'm doing with it. I don't know what my problem is. But like, that's really all that's left. I want to take this like tape fill color and mellow it out a bit, because it's like tape background. Okay, I wonder because the eraser is probably going to be, if I make the brush really big and turn the flow down, I can probably kind of mellow it out a tiny bit from some of these parts. I don't think so. Nah, I'll just leave it. Maybe turn the opacity down. Or not. Alright. Whatever. I'm gonna get this banner done. I was going to do a live stream next Friday as well, and kind of do it for not just the Patreons. I'm not really sure what I want to do, though. I kind of want to walk through the logo that I made, the new one. But yeah, I don't really know what to do it on, and I'm just gonna cheat and pull the pull the color from that banner. What do we got here? Okay, let's see if we can. Ooh, it's too hard. Yeah, I need like a 4 and 90 pixels. focusing on the edge. Should probably actually do this brush first though. Yeah. Something that I learned in woodworking that it's actually interesting. There's like a lot of life lessons that I learned at the wood shop, but one of them was specifically about when you're making your cuts like out of a sheet of plywood and you're trying to get a lot of things out of it. I had a habit of just like kind of cutting whatever and not having a lot of like strategy. Not having a lot of strategy to how I was cutting things or in what order. And you had to, in order to get the most out of the material, start with the biggest cuts because, if it was 48 inches across and you had a 36-inch cut, you're left over with 12 inches there, then you can use that for the smaller pieces. So you always start with the bigger stuff and work your way towards the smaller, because a lot of the cutoff, I'm writing on the fucking line layer. A lot of the cutoff of the bigger pieces would end up being the material for the smaller ones. And I think that's just like a pretty good metaphor for like, I don't know, take care of the important shit first, focus on yourself, fill your own cup first, whatever. I don't know. But anyway, in the context of this painting, it is about getting these bigger strokes out of the way and then building off of that with the more granular stuff because it blends better. It's not the best example of life lessons I learned at the wood shop, but there were many. I think probably the most important thing was like the guys who worked there. A lot of what you do in woodworking and cutting is just like repeated tasks over and over and over. And if you have to cut 1,000 boards at 11 inches, you could either measure 11 inches 1,000 times, or you measure it once and you build what's called a jig, which is like a tool that helps you perform repeated tasks over and over, so that you measure that once, you build a jig, and then you can get through all these cuts without measuring it 1,000 times. It really speeds up the workflow, but it also makes everything more accurate. And that was really important for me when I got into editing, because when you're just starting out, you don't really have the clients or like the brand awareness, or you don't have testimonials or a portfolio. So your only real leverage is like your price being kind of low when you're just starting out. So I was able to keep my price really low, but I was also very fast at editing. So even though my prices were low, I was making a really good hourly rate. And to this day, my prices are still very competitive. But editors like to talk a lot about how, their editing ratio. So like the ratio being a 2-to-1 would be, it takes you 2 hours to edit an episode that's an hour long. Personally, if I'm at 2-to-1, I'm having a bad day. So I would really like for a 60-minute episode to take me 100 minutes to edit. That's kind of my sweet spot. But a lot of editors are working at like 4-to-1, like they're fucking slow. So we might have the same rate, but I'm making that money way faster. And to me, that's really helpful because, I can stay competitive while not working too much, not working too hard. When I was installing solar panels at Tesla, which is actually how the podcast started, was I like just got that job after moving to Denver and working at UPS for a while, which was super tough work. One of the lessons there was about speed And it was fascinating. This kind of goes into editing as well, that I had a shift lead, or I don't know, crew lead, who used the phrase that speed is the sum of accuracy and efficiency. And it was just interesting because, like, if you think about if I wanted to get this painting done, I could draw as fast as I possibly could, but the accuracy suffers because of it. So then I might spend a lot of time fixing stuff. So you can't just move as fast as possible. It has to be an efficient workflow, and you need to not be moving so quickly that you're still accurate in your moves. So with editing, it was pretty inspiring to find how to trim, like how to focus on efficiency and how to do things in a way where I wasn't kind of like misfiring keystrokes, or I wasn't constantly hitting the wrong thing or digging through menus and working inefficiently. Because if I wanted, I charge per project, so the faster I work, I make the same amount of money, but my hourly rate is higher. So it's been an interesting thing to focus on that I learned kind of largely at the wood shop about, especially on something like a table saw. If you're just moving quickly, you can not only fuck up your project, you can cut your hand off, like this shit's dangerous. So you have to not just move quickly, you have to just be efficient and make sure you're getting those cuts right the first time, so you're not recutting shit over and over, because that's when you're going to lose time, is when you miss out on that accuracy. You're sacrificing accuracy for just raw speed, and it ultimately just slows you down. So the focusing on ways to make repeated tasks less of a thinking job and more of a just kind of quickly doing the same repeated task over and over. You think about it for, spend a little bit of time at the top figuring out the way you really want to handle it, and then it's not so difficult when you have to do it over and over and over. You don't have to keep thinking about it every time. Anyways, learned a lot of that job, even though it was a very difficult, sometimes really annoying job. It's also the first time I ever listened to a podcast was at that job. I was so tired of all the music that I've been listening to that I Googled pop punk podcast, and the Absolute Punk podcast came up, and I listened. The first episode, they talked about not Greatest Generation, the album that came after, by the Wonder Years, and the way they commented on the music. It was like, oh my god, I didn't know people thought about music the same way that I did, and I just totally fell in love with it. And then it was fun to, a couple years afterwards, be doing my own podcast. I did that on the wrong layer, but I'm pretty much done. So let me, oh, you know what? I fucked up the banner again. Let me see. I gotta expand. Go back to the banner and do a little bit more work here, and then I'm gonna call it a day and hang out with the family. Appreciate you all being here, though. I had a lot of fun working on this. Congratulations again to KP for winning the coloring contest. It was the orange amp that did it for me, I'll tell you that. In our own piece, we did not we did not color it orange, and we left that up to Jess to do what he wanted. And he chose to go with black and incorporate our colors into it. So I thought that was really cool. All right, how did I do? Let's this is my coloring, and this is the the original. I mean, his is definitely better, I can tell you that. But I don't think mine is really that far off. Let me try. AP was Jason's. Oh shit. Thomas Nassif and Jason Tate. That's who it was. Yeah, they talk about No Closer to Heaven. That's what it was. Alright, I'm gonna try a little trick here. That ain't it. Ooh! Alright, select the banner. I'm going to do my little expand thing. And then move to give a little bit of air there. And use a clipping mask. Set it to black. And I think if I do it right, I can just... Oh. Command-Shift-I to invert it. Yeah, cool. So now I can just delete these edges out, and I'm still going to do the stippling to keep a little bit of texture throughout it. And I'm going to do the same to the other side and then clean up anything that's kind of fucked up, because there's a few things here that look a little goofy. Move it up. Cool. Yeah, so Jason Tate, we actually talked a few times about doing some kind of collaborative stuff together, because they're not really doing their podcast anymore. So there was talk about either reminiscent kind of, I don't know. I don't really know what we're trying to do with it, but like, I don't know. Like, Pat and I don't really mind if the show like never grows. But at the same time, we obviously fucking want it to. So there's been I don't think like a network is necessarily something that we'd really be that interested in. But there's got to be some kind of like collaborative something where it's still our show and we're not like changing what we do, because like it would be nice to make enough money to like support our family and shit off of this, but it's a stretch to think that it would happen. We are at least not paying out of pocket for the show thanks to the Patreon. For years I was just paying hosting. All the expenses are like something like $40-50 a month before we even get into like upgrading equipment and stuff. What's going on here? I don't know. But yeah, we're trying to figure out ways to like grow the show, maybe make a little bit more money off it so that we can justify spending more time and doing more fun shit like this art project, because it was a lot of fun. I'm not trying to toot my horn too hard, but this looks pretty good. I mean, again, I like his better, but it's pretty similar. I'm proud of myself. Good job, me. You killed it. I'm gonna save that. And then quickly, Oh yeah, Melissa, you've got that 300-mile run today. Have fun. Don't hurt yourself. But I think you probably got it under control by now. Thanks for hanging out. It was a lot of fun. So I'm working on like a brand icon for... the thought is like at some point being like reminiscent media, where it could be a record label, it could be a music festival, it could be TV shows, sketch comedies, books, that kind of stuff. So this is like kind of the brand logo, whereas this is like, the podcast artwork. So it would be like a band logo versus an album logo or something. So thanks, Melissa. I've really struggled to find something that would work. And Jess and I went back and forth on trying to like take the R out of the artwork and do something with that. And it just wasn't really working as something that could be seen from this size, because it was going to be the favicon for the website. It's going to be the watermark, yada, yada. So I went to this coffee shop down the street and I was just like brainstorming ideas, and I was looking at pictures of cassettes and ways to do something that was tattooy and it was rough and it wasn't perfect, but it wasn't too distressed or anything. I wanted like a really good mix between like clean, tattooed, whatever. So when I was looking at cassettes, they have these prongs on it. So I was trying to figure out, can we get an R and a P in here somewhere where like there's an R on this prong and a P, or maybe the tape comes down and unwinds. And I ended up just drawing a circle and putting the prongs in here. So I had these 6 prongs. Can I delete the R? I don't think I can. Yeah. And it just turned out that when I rotated everything, I think it was 30 degrees, there was a prong here and one there. And I was like, holy shit, that lines up with the R and the P. In the logo before, it's an R that's kind of detached so it can look like an R or a P. And honestly, I thought I was kind of clever. I was kind of proud of myself. But then when I realized that these are exactly where those prongs would lie, we can incorporate the R and the P into the cassette wheel. And I fell in love with that idea. So I tried to explore that a little bit, and I kind of did this thing where I added that stippling around the inner side, and it kind of serves 2 purposes. It looks more like tattooing with the stippled edges, but also the medium of cassette, of magnetic tape. You hear a lot about like tape hiss, and it was kind of grainy and it's like staticky. So the edges are like tattoo faded, but it's also like the static of a cassette tape. And I like just really, really loved that. I added the color bars across. I tried a lot of different things. I think I had I tried colors coming out of the side there. I had all kinds of shit, but I ended up with the bars across the side, and I kind of tried to distress those a little bit as well, kind of like that. And then I added a tiny bit of color splashes into that graininess to give it like a tiny bit of life. So we're kind of going with this as like our logo right now. I'll probably continue to work on it, but I really, really enjoy the way that this looks. I don't know, I'm trying to figure out like branding from this holistic sense of like, looking at our website and how does it all look together. And in the next week I have to make banners for like the YouTube channel, Twitter. Like I have to make so many assets with all this stuff. So I'm trying to figure out a way to make it all cohesive but not look stale and get kind of tired. So yeah, I'm really in love with this. There's a couple like technical issues where I added the order of events was so I made a perfect circle, and then I added a a little border so that the edges were rough, so that it's not a perfect circle on the edges. There's a couple like right here, kind of comes in a little bit. I didn't want it to be perfect. We can see a little bit of it here. So I added like a stroke to the edge that was imperfect. I added all these, the bars, the R, the P, and then I used the stippling brush to fill the whole thing in so that it looked a little bit distressed. And then I added the fizz to the sides. But if we look at just the fizz, like it's pretty intense in the middle, and when you add that to what was already full, and then a little bit more to make it bolder, there ended up being this really thick black line right down the middle. You can kind of see like a tiny bit of it right here. So I have to go in there and try to like manually, let's see, change this to black and go in there with the stippling brush on a layer mask and try to like paint some of that hard line out on all three of these layers without having like the white come in too much. So it's been this really hard balance of trying to get all that together. There's probably a better way to do it. So I'm probably going to try to remake the whole thing, and hopefully make stickers of these at some point. But I've really, really been happy with the new logo, the new look. I think it could be condensed into something that's monochrome, which was really important, and it can be cleaned up and not have the distressed edges if for some instance it needs to be cleaner. So I thought it really kind of checked all those boxes into a nice little logo. But yeah, I don't know yet. It's still like growing on me, but it is 2:30 here. I went 2.5 hours when I thought it would be maybe an hour. Thank you all so much for hanging out. It was so much fucking fun. Let me show you something real quick before I head out. So we ordered a bunch of stickers, and we've got I wish I could bring up OBS here, because that would just make my camera full screen. You don't need to see. But yeah, OBS is like not. Oh wait. There we go. Okay. So we have like the main logo. I need to turn this onto autofocus. So the stickers got like significantly more expensive as they got bigger. So we had 100 of the big ones made, and like 300 of these small ones that we're like hoping to spam every city in the country with. And the only like designs from the Flashy that really worked well as stickers were the iPod and the sword or the dagger, which I think were my two favorite anyway. When I went to hang out with my friend Jess in Pittsburgh, who did the Flashy, I was gonna get this tattooed on me, but I had my brother's wedding and I didn't want to like not be able to dance. So anyway, we got these stickers. We do have them for sale on the website, so you can either get the logo on its own, or you can order like a bundle of all of them. And if you buy it with the flash sheet, the print, which there's more information on the website, which is reminiscentpodcast.com/merch. If you buy it with the flash sheet, Patreon supporters get a discount code. So these are already in the protective shit, whatever it is, the plastic, so it ships and arrives properly. This is the one Nathan's getting. It's $4.20, but you can get $5 off the order, so basically the stickers are free with the print. Shipping is unfortunately super expensive. We're only charging like for half of what the shipping actually costs, because it's like $12 to fucking ship these things, just to make sure they arrive in one piece. But Yeah, they're on the website, reminiscentpodcast.com/merch. KP already won one for being a great color. And Adrian and Jess won prints as well. And I think it was Dylan won the stickers. So thank you so much for hanging out. I really had a lot of fun. I guess I can probably talk right to you. Oh, that's close. Whoa. I don't know when that got zoomed in, but I appreciate you hanging out. I had a lot of fun. That was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, but it was a blast. I would like to do more live streaming in the future. So thanks for hanging out. And episode 250 coming out next week. That's insane. I think the 24th or something. No, next Friday the 26th is 5 years since we initiated our RSS feed on Libsyn. So we've been doing it a long time, and it's finally meaning something to people. So really appreciate you all, and we'll talk soon. Bye.